Hi, girls. First, I want to apologize. I don't know what's going on with Zoom, but I tried everything. Apparently, no one could get on, including myself. So, I guess sometimes technology is not all it's cracked up to be. So, I'm just going to video this. I'm going to send it to you guys. And if anyone has any questions or comments, I want you either to text me or respond in the email. If you want to chat about it, I'm happy to do so because this certainly wasn't your fault. I wanted to talk about, and it's an important topic because I've been speaking to a couple of you, and I noticed that self-sabotage seems to be kind of a common thing with lots of people. Um, and there's different variations of how we sabotage and to what extent and things like that. So I think it's a really important topic, so I want to talk about it, and I know some of you kind of fall into the category. So if you want to take this chat on further, just reach out to me if you have any questions again. So I do apologize. So let's just talk about, why do we sabotage? And the number one is it's emotional eating. And emotional eating is a big deal. Um, it's like a comfort trap. How many of us, and it's interesting because emotions run, good, bad, and, from the whole spectrum. So a lot of times you think of emotional eating as, when you're sad, when you're stressed, when you're depressed, whatever that might, whatever that looks like to you. But sometimes it's even when you're celebrating things. It's like something great happened. I deserve, a cookie or whatever it is. So food is often used as an emotional crutch. So when we're stressed, again, anxious, lonely, again, even celebrating, a lot of us turn to food. It's not only is it comfort, it's relief, and more than that, for a lot of us, it's just what we do, right? Let's be honest. So the reality is eating triggers dopamine. Dopamine is your feel-good hormone. So it's not just in your head. It's kind of real. Once it gets triggered, it's temporary relief, mind you, but it's relief nonetheless. So, that's the problem. How do we break the cycle? Well, first of all, you need to identify your emotional eating triggers. Is it from boredom? Is it from stress? Is it from sadness? Is it because, something good happened today? Actually writing these things down is super, super helpful. So, number two, find an alternative coping mechanism. I've spoken to a couple of you. I know some of you journal. For me, when I am stressed, taking a walk, exercising, moving, playing pickleball is always my go-to. It works for me. Deep breathing works for my grandson. We've been working on that a lot when he gets a little stressed. Another really good tip, and this may sound kind of silly, delay eating, okay? Literally give yourself 10 minutes. You can tell Alexa, set a timer, whatever it is, to set a timer, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, and see if the indulgent feelings pass, okay? Literally give yourself a timeout like you would when you were a kid. Second thing, there's deep-seated self-sabotage. I can't even say that. And basically what that is, some people have a fear of success. I have a son like that. It doesn't relate to food, but, these things, it's kind of like plug and play. So some people subconsciously believe they don't deserve to be healthy or happy or successful or what fill in your own blank there. Others feel that if they actually do lose the weight, like I want to be a size X and oh my God, I'm there. And now like everything hasn't changed. So perfect example, I'm sharing a little bit with you, but it's okay. My youngest son struggles a little bit and he finally quit smoking pot, which was a really big deal for him. But he really thought that once he did that, everything in his life would change. So, I'm sharing this with you to be vulnerable and to let you know that everyone's got stuff going on, but also because just because you stop doing something, you break a habit, doesn't mean your life is just going to completely turn around. Okay, there's other healthy habits you need to establish, is my point. There's other work that needs to be done. Okay, so how do you overcome this sabotage? So challenge yourself, challenge the negative self-talk. I feel like that's a big component into why we sabotage. So instead of saying I always fail, tell yourself I'm capable to change, because we're all capable. Recognize and accept that weight loss does not change your worth if you lose it or if you don't, okay? It just improves your health. That was kind of the moral of why I was saying this. Just because my son quit smoking pot didn't mean all of a sudden like everything changed. Your whole life isn't going to change, but your health will change, and that is the step in the right direction. Work on self-compassion, and small wins are huge, okay? The third thing, got to get rid of the all or nothing thinking. And I've spoken to you guys, over and over again. This is a conversation that we've had. It's a perfectionist downfall. And I kind of get sucked into it in various reasons myself. I tend to be a perfectionist. A lot of people believe that you have to be perfect to succeed. Perfection is crap, okay? One unhealthy meal or one skip workout, you don't fail from that, okay? It's one time, it's one day, it's 1 week even, whatever it is. So you don't want that to trigger you to binge, oh, screw it. I already ruined it. I had a cupcake at lunch and now I'm done. I'm just going to, dive into the Cheetos. No, okay? It's just keep it in that vacuum, in that moment, in that tunnel, okay? So how to fix it? You need to shift away from perfectionism to consistency. Consistency is key. So one bad meal does not ruin your progress. A great thing is just to focus on the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you get super clean. 20%, you kind of do your thing, right? But remind yourself, progress trumps perfection all day long, okay? So the fourth thing, biological and habit-based roadblocks. What does that mean? Things like sleep deprivation. I talk about this a lot. Sleep is huge. Sleep deprivation leads to increased cravings for not just any cravings, but for sugar and junk food, okay? The second one is stress and cortisol. High levels of stress leads to belly fat accumulation and sugar cravings, all right? So it's really hard to reduce stress. This is a stressful climate. This is a stressful time in a lot of people's lives for lots of reasons. You need to do whatever you can to try and reduce that, okay? And food addiction is real, all right? Food makers do what they do so that you keep buying more of what they do so they stay in business and make more money, okay? Processed foods are actually designed to make you addicted and buy more and more and more. Get rid of it. So solutions. Prioritize your sleep, 7 to 9 hours. Reduce stress through what? Through mindfulness. I wish I was more mindful, but I'm not. Yoga, walking, exercise, whatever works for you. Podcasts, knit. I don't know what rocks your world. Slowly transition, I would say quickly, but the reality is slowly transition from ultra-processed foods. Swap in whole foods. That's the best way to do it. The fifth thing, lack of awareness and hidden calories. This is a big one, okay? And this is something I don't believe that everyone really thinks about. So people often underestimate actually how much they're eating, and they underestimate, or they overestimate, I should say, how much you're actually moving. So, you're talking about mindless snacking. You're talking about, eating in front of a TV or looking at your phone while you're eating lunch and you're grabbing this and you're grabbing that or whatever it is. Drinking your calories. Things like that really derail your progress. So how do you fix this? Guess what? I'm going to say, use your app. Journal your food. It is so important because here's the reality. Maybe you're eating super healthy, okay? I was talking to somebody today and, you're supposed to drink half your body weight in water. She was drinking way more than that. And then that becomes a negative also. But you've got to write these things down. You've got to be accountable. You've got to go back and say, where did I screw up? Why am I gaining this weight? And, it's even little things. And I'm going to share with myself. So I make a salad for lunch every day. And I started getting used to taking 2 figs, not dates, and chopping them up and putting them into my salad. Makes it taste great. But the reality is, those 2 figs, which I was doing, I don't even know why I ended up doing it because I wasn't for so long. And all of a sudden I started adding it in. It ends up being like another, I don't know, I'm making this up, let's say 100 calories. About 100 calories a day added up. I don't need that. So, okay, boom, that's something I can take away. But I only recognize this because I wrote everything down. Okay, and then I went back and thought, why did I just put on 2 pounds or whatever it is? So there's always a culprit in there, okay? So figure it out. Eating meals without distractions. I don't know how many of you eat with phones or TVs, but really don't. And smaller plates are really beneficial. So here's my final thought on the self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is, this is like an alliteration, I don't even know if I can say, is self-sabotage is solvable. You like that? Say that 3 times. Please don't. Um, so here's the reality. You guys all know what to eat, okay? It's in the app. It's kind of programmed for you. You could follow it to the letter of the law. You know exactly what to eat. But you know what? That's not what it's all about. It's about breaking patterns and shifting your mindset. And that is, at the end of the day, the only way you're going to eat better is if you break your old patterns and you change that mindset. Okay, I can't stress that enough. So bringing awareness to habits is so important. Changing your self-talk. Setting realistic goals. That is huge as well. It becomes easier to self-sabotaging that way. A little thumbs up just popped up into my thing and I don't know why. Sorry about that. That was weird. Breaking self-sabotaging patterns requires a mix of awareness, action, and consistency. Consistency is key. It really is. And I'm a very consistent human being, so I love that. So let's just go through kind of a step-by-step strategy to help you kind of shift out old habits and create new ones that can actually just stick. So first and foremost, identify your triggers. It's really important. What triggers me, what triggers you, what triggers her. They may be the same, they might not. So before you can break a pattern, we need to know what the pattern is. Make sense? So ask yourself. There's a couple things you can ask yourself. First, when do I overeat or make unhealthy choices? Is it always, in between lunch and dinner? Is it always after dinner? I know some of you are some of you are night eaters. So there's going to be a pattern. There's usually a rhyme and a reason to almost everything in life. Okay, so start to take note, literally take note. What emotions or situations trigger these behaviors? Is it just boredom? Is it just truly a habit? Is it stress? Is it A, B, or C? Only you can answer that. Are there specific times a day? That's what we're talking about, that, or environments? Your kids are coming over for dinner. I mean, does certain things make trigger you, make things worse? So here's an example. If stress makes you snack on junk food, then stress, not hunger, stress is the real problem. Does that make sense? So if you are deducting that every time you get stressed, you have a meeting with your boss or whatever. Every time you get stressed, that's when you eat. Then you're like, wait a minute, Karen, I'm not really hungry. This isn't an eating problem. This is a stress problem. Now I've got to figure out how to reduce my stress. Okay, makes sense? Some of you might be just kind of that witching hour, 4 o'clock, like you got nothing going on, and you're just bored. So fill in that time. Oh, I would vote for going for a walk. Just pick me. Second thing you need to do is interrupt the cycle in the moment, in real time, okay? You can't do this a day later or 20 minutes before, okay? So once you recognize the trigger, so let's say stress is what triggers me out, and boom, I'm stressed right now because the Zoom didn't work, so I would really go for a glass of wine over than something to eat, but that's me. But if you know what the trigger is, okay, pause. Literally, like, hit the pause button before reacting. I need you literally to, like, take a breath and don't react. So, and ask yourself, take that breath and ask yourself, do I really need this? Do I really want that cupcake? I'm making that up. I have no idea. Whatever's in your counter, fridge, whatever. This may sound silly, but it's not. Count to 10 or 20, whatever it is, before you make that decision. If you know you're going down this rabbit hole, just take a minute, count to 10, regroup, then make your decision. The other thing, even take it to another extreme, and this is kind of what we said before, take a 5-minute delay. It's like a timeout for yourself. Literally say, Kara, out of the kitchen. 5 minutes. Set your timer, whatever you need to do, or go fold that load of laundry, or take a walk around the block. Come back and say, wait a minute, am I even hungry? Okay? And at that point, you might be hungry. You might legitimately be hungry, but then maybe you'll choose an apple, or you'll choose celery and hummus. Do you understand? It just changes it. So here's another thought. Instead of just stress eating, do 10 jumping jacks or squats, or do push-ups in your counter. I do that all the time. Drink water. I always tell you that. Go for a short walk. Do something that will take your mind off of you think you're hungry, but you're probably not. Here's another great suggestion. Replace the habit with a better one. Easy, right? Simple math. So we don't just break habits is the reality here. So what I'm trying to say, we replace them. That's how it really works. So you because what happens is the trigger is still going to happen. So you have to find a new response for that trigger. Okay, that meets the same need, but it's a healthier version. So I'm just giving you some examples. This may or may not resonate. So emotional eating, you know, journal instead of or deep breathing, or those of you that do yoga, that would be a perfect one, or throw in a podcast that really helps you get kind of your head away. Late night snacking, um, excuse me, like after dinner, you're hungry, you think you're hungry, herbal tea, it works like a charm, I think, at least. Or another little trick is brush your teeth, like right after dinner, just brush your teeth. Or chewing gum helps too, sugar free, but chewing gum does help. If you're skipping your workouts, just go for a 5-minute walk. Just start small. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Nice and easy. Okay. So here's an example. If you normally reach for chips after work or on your way home, I don't know, like, just switch to a healthier snack so you can still reach for something. So, you know, I find a lot of people they have like a stash of snacks in their car. I learned this, and I have snacks, but they're from like my grandsons. I wouldn't eat that stuff. So instead of just reaching for whatever you have stashed in your car, also keep mints in your car, keep a piece of gum in your car, always have a water bottle in your car. Try something like that. Call somebody. I'm a big fan of phone calls in the car. So here's another thing. Make the healthy choice the easy choice, okay? If you make it the most challenging choice, you're never going to choose it. If you make it the easiest choice, simple math, you're going to go for the easy choice, right? So set your environment up for success, okay? You can do this. Just set yourself up to succeed. So what does that mean? Keep healthy snacks visible. So you open up my fridge. I have a big fridge. There's cut up veggies in there. There's yogurt right in front. I mean, that's kind of like, my you can see the fruit. I keep a bowl of fruit on my counter. So it's very visible to me. I don't keep chips out on my counter. Do you know what I mean? Prep meals ahead to avoid impulse eating. We talk about this a lot. Don't try and get too far ahead because you're going to get yourself crazy. I like the 2-day rule. Plan like 2 days in advance when you go to the market. And I always plan, for your lunch the next day. Really stay one step ahead. Those of you that struggle with working out, lay out those workout clothes. Literally, the second you step out of bed, there's your running shoes, your Lulus or whatever it is, and put them on. Okay. Next thing, this is really important. Challenge that negative self-talk. Okay. Nothing good happens when we say bad things to ourselves. It doesn't. So your mindset is key. I cannot stress that enough. So instead of saying to yourself, I always fail, try, again, this may sound hokey, but, every choice is a new opportunity. Every day is a new day, right? Instead of, damn it, I messed up. So, screw it, I'm just going to binge. Literally say to yourself, it's one bad meal. It's one moment in time. It's not going to ruin my progress. It's just not. Okay? So you just got to flip that switch. And I know it's not easy to do. I really do. Trust me, I get myself stuck in things a lot. So here's an example. If you overeat at lunch, don't wait until Monday to get yourself back together. Just make the next meal even that much more balanced, okay? So you have choices. This is all about you. So just make the right decision. The better, make the healthy. You have 2 choices, good or bad, right? Pick the good one. Start small and focus on one change at a time. I cannot stress that enough. If you throw so much stuff out there, you're just going to say, forget it, okay? So trying to overhaul everything at once, gets overwhelming. It leads to burnout. I want you to pick one habit. I want everyone to think about one habit after listening to this. I actually want you to email me back. You guys aren't great at emailing me back. I want you to text me. I don't care. One habit that this week you really want to work on. Just one. I think if we go too far in advance, it's going to get ourselves a little crazy, okay? So, for example, if you want to eat less sugar. So the easier way to be successful is start by cutting out sugar in your coffee, okay? Instead of saying, I'm never going to eat a dessert again, because we know that's probably not true, right? But the reality is once you start cutting sugar out of your coffee, for those of you that put it in, after about a week or so, you don't want the sugar in your coffee anymore. You want to exercise more. You're not just going to dive in and start working out, an hour a day for the next, 7 days. Probably. I'd like if you did. But start with just like a 10-minute walk, and then, throw in gym workouts. And one thing, negativity begets negativity, but healthy and positivity also begets the same. So you can spin backwards, you can spin forwards. Really, it's up to you. So stay accountable. I can't stress this enough, even to yourself. Accountability keeps you on track. Track your progress. Use that app, okay? Journal. You can even send me pictures if you want, whatever's easier for you. Find a workout buddy if that helps you. Reward yourself, but not with food. Maybe if I work out, I'm making this up, obviously, 3-4 days this week, I'm going to get a massage, or I'm going to get a new pair of running shoes, or whatever. Whatever works for you. So, where was I? Here's another example. If you struggle with late night eating, for example, literally set a reminder on your phone. And if your time is like 8 p.m., set a reminder on your phone that says, you're in control, have a cup of tea. Okay? I'm a big note person. If you saw my desk right now, there's little sticky notes all over. It reminds me of things. Some of it's just notes like, pick up the dry cleaning, whatever it is. But some of it is also just reminding me about things that I need to think about for myself. Sorry, the sun is right in my face here. So, we write notes about, again, going to the market, grocery list, things like that. Why can't you write notes to yourself saying nice things? Like, today's your daycare. Like, I literally talk to myself like that. Any of you have trained with me or taken any of my Fuse classes, you know how I talk to you guys. That's exactly how I talk to myself. That's why it comes out, it's authentic. Because if I'm doing something that I'm struggling with, I have a whole thing in my head and I am like my biggest cheerleader. Every now and then I'll kind of berate myself and it just brings me right down. So that doesn't work. Negativity does not work. All right. Be patient and expect setbacks. We're not perfect. We're people. Who cares? Breaking patterns take time and repetition. It's like keep putting that one foot in front of the other. Slip ups are part of, you're going to screw up. It's fine. We all do. What matters is bouncing back quickly. Progress over perfection all day long, okay? Small, consistent changes. Guess what that turns into? Long-term success. I'm going to say that again. Small, baby, consistent changes turns into long-term success. All right? I can't stress that enough. Treat setbacks as learning. It's like a learning opportunity. They're not failures. They're not, okay? You're entitled to a bad day. So here's an example. If you binge eat one night, don't punish yourself, all right? It happened. Just focus on getting back to the healthy habits the next day. Maybe work out extra hard the next day. So here's my final thought. Awareness plus action equals change. Awareness. So I'm aware of what I'm doing. I know my triggers. I know my downfalls. Plus action. So now I know what my trigger is. Now I'm going to find out, I'm going to figure out a way that works for me to reduce that trigger. That's change. Okay. So you have the power to break these patterns. And how cool is that? You literally have the power. The key is small, consistent steps and shifting how you respond to your triggers. Don't let your triggers take control of you. I want you to think of your triggers. I actually want you to see it in your head. Okay. You all know your triggers, and if you don't, I really want you to write those down and try and figure it out. So when you see them, if your trigger is, I don't know, the news, I can tell you this. The news triggers me, okay? Certain things trigger people. That rattles me right now. There's too much in the world. It stresses me out. I'm too empathic for other people. So sometimes that really triggers me, okay? So I know that about myself. So literally, I can't have the news on. I'll walk into the den. My husband will turn the TV off because I just can't listen to it. It makes me crazy. So you need to accept your triggers. You need to figure out ways to go around them, to circumvent them. You need to figure out ways to change them. I am here to help you with that, okay? So I would love all of you to either email me, text me with your biggest trigger, okay? And let's work together on ways to tweak it so we can reframe it, we can work around it, and we can figure out a way to bust through it. You can't really avoid the triggers. That takes a long time. I'm being perfectly honest with you. But we can we can kind of go around them, okay? We can feel them, we can see them, we can hold on to them, I'm going to put you over here for now, and I'm going to figure out a different way to handle this, okay? You have the power, you have control, you absolutely can do this, okay? So things happen, like the Zoom didn't work today. Stresses me out. I'm a perfectionist. I hate not delivering to you. I feel like it's my responsibility. I let you guys down. Again, all I can do is the best that I can do. This is why I'm delivering this to you tonight. I hope you understand. And again, I appreciate it because I certainly appreciate you guys. And we'll be back on schedule on Monday next week. Please get back to me. Let me know what your triggers are and how I can help. All right. Have a great night, and I will see you soon.